What up, everybody? Smash the rodents up, help us beat the algorithms. So I'm going to try to keep this stream kind of short. As you can see, it's a little later. But yeah, whatever. Let's just get right into it. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. We are going to ladle a little bit of gravy. All right. As I always tell you, when the grabblers kick me off, I'm going to be going on DLive. And I'm kind of slacking on the DLive. I've actually heard it's really simple. I just haven't gotten around. I think it's just use Restream or something, but I'll try and get it rolling so we can do them simultaneously casted. So yeah, anyway, WitsitGetsIt, hit your boy up with a follow so you'll know where I'll be if the grabblers get to me. All right. And of course, to understand what this stream is going to be about, the Hegelian dialectic, the synthetic solution to these conflicts can't be introduced unless those being manipulated take a side that will advance the predetermined agenda. Simple enough, right? If you want to boil it down to, layman's terms, problem, reaction, solution, you introduce the problem guiding the reaction to the preferred solution. That is, of course, everything that we're experiencing right now. The grabblers don't just lose control because of some election, but that is what is about to be sold. That is indeed the Hegelian dialectic being played. Let's see. Okay, so this came out a few days ago. It could take a Trump pardon, but Michael Flynn won't serve time, and he shouldn't. So this is one of the big things that are going to start the play. Okay, we all know Michael Flynn. He was arrested for lying to the FBI, and there was all kinds of double standards where all these other people were just manipulating, lying under oath, admitting that they lied, all kinds of stuff. None of them were getting in trouble, and they basically framed Michael Flynn, revealing his identity. And, of course, Austin Steinbart says that he is the head of the DIA. The director of the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency is an intelligence officer who, upon nomination by the president and confirmation by the Senate, serves as the U.S. highest-ranking military intelligence officer. Now, most people don't even know that exists. Most people don't even know that the DIA exists, but it certainly does, and you can see that it was formed in 1961, basically as a countermeasure to the CIA, and so the president is over the DIA every time they come into office. It's important to understand we're going to have to go through some of the blue pill territory to an extent, right? So you can understand what's going on. Luckily for you guys, I compiled some of it so you don't actually have to go through the mainstream nonsense yourself. But of course, in order to understand the psychological operation about to be propagated onto the U.S., thus the rest of the world, we are indeed going to have to peer behind the curtains of mainstream so we can kind of see what's going on. And that is what we're going to do. All right. So anyway, like I said, this is what's going to start it off is Michael Flynn's going to be exonerated. Now, either the judge is going to just dismiss his guilty plea, or it's going to require a Trump pardon, which of course some people will freak out about if he pardons him, but it's black and white. The dude shouldn't be going to prison. So this is what's going to start it off. I'm going to go big real fast. So you understand, I titled this "The Play Begins" because for about 3 years now, I've predicted that the last 6 months leading up to the election is when the PSYOP, the QAnon PSYOP, the Drain the Swamp, Trump is cast in the play as a hero PSYOP will begin. And so I'm sticking 100% behind my prediction. And as you know, the election's about 6 months away. So if my prediction is correct, we are about to see an exponential increase in the psychological operation. And so, again, we know they've pushed the Russian collusion narrative. Everyone was like, this is stupid. Some people actually still believe it maybe, but not many. Now, again, of course, I hate to have to preface this. I just kind of assume that people that watch my streams are already operating on this spectrum. Politics is all a lie. It's crafted to keep you divided. It's an illusion of choice. Presidents are selected, not elected. You have to be in the club. They're all operating on behalf of the same little grabblers. And it's used to divide us into red and blue, right? Okay, put together, purple as the color of royalty. They extend far beyond American elections. We all know that is not the. I'm exposing the psychological operation that will indeed swoop up many truthers. So moving on. All right, like I said, this is what's going to really start it. Okay, you could say what started it was. It's important to understand the psychological operation is geared at the normie. Okay, this is a big deal to normal people. So Michael Flynn's going to be pardoned by Donald Trump or be acquitted, exonerated. Trump's already been exonerated for the Russian collusion thing. Now, that's what's going to kind of start it. And they're going to out a lot of this corruption that was utilized to launch the Russia investigation. Hey, guys, I hope you're keeping up. That means the whole thing was set up. If you ever wondered, why are these people making up such a provably fraudulent, unsubstantiated, unfounded lie to try to get Donald Trump out of office? Why don't we just talk about how he clearly has, Jesuit ties and is built by the Rothschilds. This has to do what they say. But they'll never talk about that, ever. You'll never hear that. But everything else they can come up with on the surface to make it look like they truly hate Trump, they are instructed to say those things. Most of them really low IQs, heathens, probably a lot of sodomites. They don't really care about anything except for what's right in front of their face. They do what they're told. They're happy with what they get. They're as Owen would say, they're fancy pants and lollipops, right, or whatever. Well, that's what most of these people are doing, but they are told what to say. This was all crafted, and it's quite genius if you think about it. Make the people that go at Trump go out on such unfounded limbs that it's so preposterous when you actually look into their allegations that it will create an illusion of him being exonerated. Okay, now we're about to watch that unravel. It's too perfect to be naive enough to think that this wasn't all crafted. Now the way that they're going to start to drain the swamp and pull the psyop off is they're just going to expose how corrupt it was for them to initially launch the investigation into Trump via Obamagate, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, there you go. Michael Flynn's obviously not going to get in trouble. Head of the DIA, according to Austin Steinbart, who I do indeed think is part of the whole situation. Like I said, we're going to have to watch some things. So, guys, it's just a couple minutes, but we're going to check it out.
Do you know anybody who trusts the government anymore? There's a reason for that. And by the way, it's not just Democrats you should blame. The vast majority of the Russian collusion investigation occurred during the first 2 years of this administration. Who ran the government then? At the time, Republicans controlled both houses of Congress and every single committee by definition. They had the power to expose this hoax and to shut it down, but they did not. It's Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell and Richard Burr and so many of the other useless Senate Republicans. Total phonies. They didn't really do anything.
Richard Burr, he is calling Don Trump Jr. back.
Senator Burr, who's well respected, he doesn't want to be lied to. He wants to get to the bottom of what happened.
Republican Senator Richard Burr had served the president's son with a subpoena. Can you explain why the Republican would want to do that?
Gowdy disputes Trump's spy claim.
No, I think Gowdy's appearance was disgraceful. According to Gowdy, the FBI ran it by the book, how the Americans would have wanted them to run the investigation. Really? Give me a break.
You said I am even more convinced that the FBI did exactly what Americans would want them to do.
There was no spy. Have you seen any evidence of that?
I have not. I would think you would want the FBI to find out whether or not there was any validity to what those people were saying. The FBI did exactly what my fellow citizens would want them to do.
He says the FBI did exactly what we should want them to do.
The number one question I get asked from Americans is why no one has gone to jail and been held accountable. It was Paul Ryan and Trey Gowdy that wouldn't give us that subpoena power. We didn't send out a single subpoena, not one.
I supported the Mueller investigation because I didn't know.
Senator, we're talking about a shredding of constitutional law due process that we would ever have.
You say that Mueller is a good guy, right?
That's been my experience, yes.
And you'll do anything necessary to protect him from being interfered with.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's all been. Where's Director Ray, though? I've got a lot of people yelling at me tonight. He's not doing his job.
And you'll do anything necessary to protect him.
Absolutely.
Somebody that every American should trust, Mr. Mueller.
Bob Mueller was an excellent appointment. He will go wherever the facts lead him. He will have great credibility.
People want you to move on this, Senator. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, but I've told you, and I'll tell you again.
Total phonies who tell you they're representing you, but don't. Explain why they didn't really do anything to stop the derailment of America while it was in progress.
So relatively based, we all know Tucker is the one that was chosen to kind of be based. But the point of me showing you that clip is to kind of help to paint the picture here. Hopefully you're putting it together. They're creating political chaos. Politics in and of itself inherently is designed to do that, but they are, of course, going to amp this up. And it is not going to be exclusive to Democrats being exposed. Like, it'll seem disproportionate. But Republicans will also go down. That is what creates the authenticity. In addition, there will be authenticity. That's how you would do it. I don't know why people get so hung up on that. Like, everything has to be crafted. No, like, there are legitimately crazy people that work for CNN and actually believe the nonsense that they say, right? Now, a lot of them are actually CIA agents, etc. But a lot of them are actually crazy. You would just let the crazy people be crazy. That's how you would do it. You're going to have to unplug from the box, and you're going to have to think like the ones that wrote the play so you can truly understand the script while it's happening, as opposed to recollection bringing clarity 10 years later, kind of like, now we know 9/11. There weren't even planes, right? Let's try and get ahead of the game here. You're going to have to think like the grabblers. So authenticity is very needed to make the psyop work. Okay, it's important to understand that. So a lot of the people are really going to get exposed. They're just actually corrupt, and they're little puppet politicians that are completely dispensable to the grabblers. Why would the grabblers care? They don't even have direct communication lines with the real people calling the shots. These people just get their orders through a compartmentalization of corruption, and then they sell out for surface level things. And now they're caught for life because they have too much dirt on them. So a lot of these Republicans they truly do, they don't know the big picture. It's important to understand that. A lot of these people don't know the true picture. That's how it works. If everyone believes it, then you just guide what it is. And then the psyop works perfect for all intents and purposes to the third party viewer. It's not only quite genius and meticulously crafted, it's really common sense. And it's the only logical way to ensure success ever trying to roll something out this big. You do not in any way compromise yourself. You leave yourself open to vulnerabilities if you just tell everybody the big secret. So understand what's going on. A lot of these Republicans are super corrupt. Dude, you got to be corrupt to even want to be a politician. Okay, now I'm sure there are some based local offices, and our votes do seem to actually kind of guide who's in the local office, maybe some base sheriffs here and there. But if you want to be a politician, you suck, right? I mean, it's like inherent in the job description that you have to suck. So from the jump, we know these people are trash, right? So it goes without being said, they obviously all pretty much compromised via corruption. That's how they're controlled. So yes, a lot of these people that are plugged into their own psyop and don't even know it, they probably were trying to hide some of this dirt, or trying to cover up for some of the negative aspects of what the intel agencies were doing. Okay, because they take it upon themselves to make the decision as to how much truth the American people can handle. Right? It would just cause chaos. God forbid people know that the intel agencies are constantly implementing and rolling out psychological operations for decades, and every single aspect and branch of the government and the military is incredibly corrupt, and they basically treat us as enemies. But, we're not allowed to know that because these politicians decide what's good for you to know. We'll keep all the secrets behind our little grabbler curtains. So I hope you understand what I'm saying there. A lot of this is most of the people in the play think the play's real. It's that simple. And that's how it works. So like when the cop comes out and he speaks out, he may have been called by his little dressed up in the dark buddies and been like, hey man, it's time for you to speak out. But all the rest of the cops that come out, they're just going to come out. Why wouldn't you just let it be organic? Nurses speaking out, doctors speaking out, cops speaking out. You would just let that happen organically because they're doing what you ultimately want them to do. People want to auto hoax everything. No. You need to see the bigger picture. The grabblers are really good at this game. All right, so let's just move on. Okay. Also, again, kind of like a plugged into the box thing to watch here, but just to kind of put some more context to what I'm telling you is about to happen, how this is all going to start. Again, Michael Flynn exonerated, maybe even pardoned. Trump exonerated, already has been, because they released a lot of the quotes. The DOJ released the quotes that they're just saying we didn't even actually have any evidence. And then at the same time, they were getting on mainstream media and saying they knew for sure that there was Russian collusion. And even like the average American doesn't know that yet. Like not the based ones in my chat. I don't blame you for unplugging, but like the ones that believe the whole system thing, they don't even know this. Like it's pretty wild. It's like the grabblers are probably pissed. They're like, what do I got to do to wake everyone up? Like y'all are so stupid. Like we dumbed you down too much. We can't even make you flip over. That's the real struggle they're going through right now. But of course they have it planned to where there's going to be such a plethora, an avalanche of truth reveals that there will be no choice but for the blue pill normie to become diet woke. Control the opposition, you lead it yourselves. Hegelian dialectic. So let's watch this video because this is the next part of the plan. So Trump, Flynn exonerated, Obamagate. Like all the people think QAnon is just some random dude. I've been telling you for a long time. It's not. It's coming from inside the military. It's a deep military operation. Obviously, all you have to do is actually research it. So someone said something about tweet Obamagate, and then what does Donald Trump do right after that? Tweets Obamagate. It starts trending on Twitter. Pretty unprecedented, if you want to be honest. It is incredibly unprecedented. So Obamagate starts trending on Twitter, and so this will be all tied in, right? This will be what spearheads the psychological operation. We're already under an immense psychological operation. If you don't know, the world shut down on cue, right? But this is where it really takes off, and hence the title. Okay, so what spearheads it is this big bundle of truth reveal, which is where, look, they set up Flynn, they set up Trump, and Obama abuses power. It's unprecedented abuse of executive power of a sitting president to basically subversively obtain a FISA court warrant via fraudulent information to wiretap a political opponent. That is going to be the truth reveal that everyone's going to spiral about. And it's like, if you're actually woke, you're like, that's all he did? Like, that's light work. That's like a mandatory minimum, But anyway, let's just watch the video.
It's a long weekend. You guys have 3 days to follow up on those questions, and I certainly hope the next time I ask, some hands go up, because Obama's spokesperson should be asked those questions, because President Trump's spokespeople certainly would be to know.
Thank you, Haley. I'd like to switch gears and ask you about President Obama. We had we had an interesting article from Joel Pollak this morning, and I would like to ask you if the president has considered pardoning President Obama for illegally wiretapping on Trump Towers, illegally spying on U.S. citizens, and other potential crimes.
Guys, what kind of question is that? I hate to pause it. No. She actually said that. Like, she read that out loud.
The article from Joel Pollak this morning, and I would like to ask you if the president has considered pardoning President Obama for illegally wiretapping on Trump Towers, illegally spying on U.S. citizens, and other potential crimes out there. Has he considered that?
So I have not spoken to the president about that. But who I did speak to about President Obama and unmasking Michael Flynn were the men and women in this room. I haven't spoken to him on that specific point, have spoken to him about the matter generally. And I laid out a series of questions that any good journalist would want to answer about why people were unmasked and all sorts of questions. And I just wanted to follow up with you guys on that. Did anyone take it upon themselves to pose any questions about Michael Flynn and unmasking the President Obama spokesperson? Oh, not a single journalist has posed that question. Okay. So I would like to lay out a series of questions, and perhaps if I write them out in a slide format, maybe we're visual learners and you guys will follow up with journalistic curiosity. So number one, why did the Obama administration use opposition research funded by a political organization and filled with foreign dirt to surveil members of the Trump campaign? Number two, why was Lieutenant General Michael Flynn unmasked? Not by the intel community entirely, but by Obama's chief of staff, by the former Vice President Joe Biden, by Susan Rice, by the Treasury Secretary. I mean, this is extraordinary. And, you know, if it were political appointees in the Trump administration, I can guarantee you I'd have questions in my inbox right now, but apparently Obama's spokesperson does not. Why was Flynn's identity leaked? In a criminal act. It is a criminal act to leak the identity of Michael Flynn to the press, but it happened. Where are the questions to Obama's spokesperson? Because my team would be running around this building should this have happened under the Trump administration. Why did the DOJ, Sally Yates, learn about the unmasking from President Obama? So much for going by the book. As Susan Rice said 3 times, thou doth protest too much, Susan Rice. And then finally, question number 5. Why did James Clapper, John Brennan, Samantha Power, and Susan Rice privately admit under oath they had no evidence of collusion while saying the opposite publicly? It's a long weekend. You guys have 3 days to follow up on those questions, and I certainly hope the next time I ask, some hands go up, because Obama's spokesperson should be asked those questions, because President Trump's spokespeople certainly would be.
I mean, guys, you gotta give it to them, man. They're pulling out all the stops. Like they like got a pretty girl up there that's like pretty articulate, and she's just dropping like unprecedented, truth bombs, if you want to call it that. Guys, I'm not going to keep prefacing myself. Okay, you know where I stand, but the point is, if you're thinking relative to anything else, any other administration or anything like that, this is wild. It's already a movie. If you're watching, it's already a movie. Like, that's wild. Like, she's just casually saying, like, basically Obama committed a huge crime and none of y'all are talking about it. Y'all are being complicit and basically covering it up. And so here's some questions that you need to answer. And this goes out to the public and the American people. And you people still don't think that this is all part of like some giant psyop. I'll just never understand those people. And again, part of the Q thing is going to appear to come true. I'm not going to keep reiterating that. If you want to disagree, I just consider it to be the real safe position to take, to hand wave dismiss the Q thing, to not actually research it with any form of diligence to understand the intricacies, because it's safer that way. Because it seems improbable that these players ever get in trouble. So it's real easy to just say, it's all fake, it's all stupid, nothing's ever going to happen. When some of it is going to happen, it's just all going to be a show. So I'll just make my predictions boldly and honestly. I don't care about like playing it safe. It's honestly repulsive to me. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Okay, yeah, and obviously I didn't really think about it. You don't need much context. The whole point is simply the show is starting. Okay, they're telling you what the first act is. President Obama getting exposed. That will shake a lot of normies to their core. You got to understand what's going on. You got to stop trying to whip out, I'm the best truther ever. And, we're talking about the whole world is about to go under a psychological operation. We need to try to raise awareness, not sit in the corner like we're the truthers. We need to try to actually do something. And if we have some people out on the record not being scared to make bold predictions, calling this intricately beforehand, that will be a testament to it once it happens, right? So maybe then we can actually try to wake people up. All right, this is I told people This is multifaceted. Okay. The whole pandemic, this social engineering, this isn't their final move. It's just like working out the bugs, right? Like, what do they need to work on for a future implementation of a new world order? Okay, so they've got us to normalize virtual interaction, to, stop having human interaction, to be blindly and willfully obedient to the powers that be, structured systems. Like, we just hear, like, even when, like, Trump says he wants to reopen the country, phase 1, phase 2, it's like the government's giving us phases on how to behave. It's like a huge psychological pivot that no one really seems to understand the full magnitude of. Phase 1, no, we don't need your phases, bro. Like it's wild. So that's all this is. It's psychological operation. It's it's making you more malleable to the future implementation. That's what this whole thing is, and they're checking boxes off as it goes. And they obviously, of course, they can slide in all kinds of funny money. They're just causing major hyperinflation because they want the dollar to collapse. It's already dead, but they're replacing it. So I've told y'all what's happening, right? It's like there's going to be a huge economic infrastructure change. There's going to be a technological infrastructure change. There's going to be governmental governmental infrastructure change. And then the media is going to be replaced. And that's so obvious to me. I don't see how people think it's far-fetched. I don't understand. But anyway, we'll watch the video. This just kind of show you this is definitely what's happening. They have effectively hung mainstream media by their own words, and they're just waiting to kick the chair out from underneath them. They're honestly waiting for people to catch up, because people are so stupid that they still think that like CNN's a valid source of information. And we have a president that's calling fake news from the beginning. Again, unprecedented. So anyway, he was just casting the world play as the hero. So let's watch this. This is older, but
someday when I'm not president, which hopefully will be in about 6.5 years from now, the New York Times and CNN and all of these phony media outlets will be out of business, folks. They'll be out of business because
and that is a literal prediction. Like that's like literally what's going to happen. So you guys know, like that's literally going to happen. They already had the replacement ready. And it will appear to be just random, independent people like us. It'll appear free. So this is he's telling you straight to your face what's actually going to happen, as if he doesn't know.
CNN and all of these phony media outlets will be out of business, folks. They'll be out of business because there'll be nothing to write and there'll be nothing of interest. So nobody has done what this administration has done. And I agree, it's different from an agenda which is much different than ours, and it's certainly not your agenda, that I can tell you. It's about open borders. It's about letting people flee into our country. It's about a disaster and crime for our country. So they don't like Donald Trump, and I don't like them because they're very dishonest people. Remember this also about the New York Times. When I won, they were forced to apologize to their subscribers. They wrote a letter of apology. It was the first time anybody's ever done it because they covered the election incorrectly. So if the failing New York Times has an anonymous editorial, can you believe it? Anonymous, meaning gutless, a gutless editorial. We're doing a great job. The poll numbers are through the roof. Our poll numbers are great. And guess what? Nobody is going to come close to beating me in 2020 because of what we've done.
Oh, yeah. And again, that's literally true. Like, it's already known. One of the biggest victories in modern history. So he told you straight up to your face 2 different things about the PSYOP, that the media will no longer be there, that CNN and them will no longer be there, and that he'll win in a landslide. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say. So anyway, I'm just trying to say that a lot of people think, like, they probably heard that clip. It's important to understand he's telling you what's really going to happen. It doesn't matter how many truthers think it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. They've already planned it. If you have eyes to see it and you can apply pattern recognition, they're obviously hanging the current consensus of mainstream media intentionally. They have already crafted the replacement, and it will appear to be a good thing, right? So it's important to understand that. All right, moving on. And this Typeform isn't accepting new responses. Social media platforms should advance freedom of speech, yet too many Americans have seen their accounts suspended, banned, or fraudulently reported for unclear violations of user policies. On May 15th of 19, President Trump asked Americans to share their stories of suspected political bias. The White House received thousands of responses. Thank you for lending your voice. Now, I've told you numerous times that there's going to be something to the effect of, the Internet Bill of Rights. Okay. Now, I'm not just making this stuff up. I am indeed speculating predictions, but they're founded in a plethora of logic and pattern recognition. I am not just throwing things out in the wind. Okay. And I didn't even know about this when I originally predicted that. But he set up a platform where you can basically say, look, these media companies are censoring me unfairly. That's pretty unprecedented, okay? So they're going to introduce what's called the Internet Bill of Rights. People are going to be so happy, and that's why they're getting much more totalitarian and out in the open with their censorship. It will, of course, be crafted as if Trump is battling Twitter, Facebook, IG, Google, YouTube. But again, this is all play. And so they'll introduce the Internet Bill of Rights. And of course, who will be implementing that? Who will be actually behind keeping that in order? The government. Dun, dun, dun. So they'll trick us into, we just want to be able to say whatever we want to again. And we'll be so excited about that promise that we won't even pay attention to the very simple inevitability of the fact that it will be rolled out by the government, by the military. So it'll be, of course, sold that it's out of necessity. A public utilization of these platforms that are public platforms isn't a bad thing. Like, Congress has basically given them some type of congressional immunity to where they don't have to adhere to publishing laws if they selectively censor, but that's what that is there for. So they're able to operate as if they aren't censoring people while they censor people, right? They should have to adhere to publishing laws. They got basically totalitarian immunity. And so they've crafted our problem. They're guiding our reaction. So now they have mainstream doctors getting taken off of YouTube. Now YouTube just tells you, look, you can't talk about this month. It's getting ridiculous because they want to wake up the normies, right? They want to wake up the normies. That's what this is all about. Okay, because it's just in order to make a huge change, you have to dismantle the old infrastructure. It really isn't complicated. But anyway, this administration did indeed already set up a platform for complaints of censorship, and that is, of course, going to be the legs in the future. They basically compiled all kinds of evidence that would be publicly known about and traceable so that they can justify holding them accountable. So that's coming. So we've covered basically, the truth reveals that will spearhead this to start, and they're going to replace the media, and they're going to implement an Internet Bill of Rights. So moving on. Okay, now I did a video a few days ago called New Monetary System Incoming. We talked about NASARA, National Economic Security. We talked about quite a few things, and it really was just a vague overview. I mean, if someone wants me to do a more in-depth one about that, you can just leave in the comments and I will. But anyway, we covered quite a few important things. NASARA, National Economic Security and Recovery Act, was a set of proposed economic reforms for the United States suggested during the 90s by Harvey Bernard. We went through what some of those stipulations were, getting rid of the IRS, the income tax, forgiving all debt, reintroducing precious metals, eliminating the Federal Reserve System, et cetera, the nationalization of the Federal Reserve, which is effectively already beginning to take place by moving them over to the allocation going through the Treasury, through the Federal Reserve Transparency Act, and an audit of the Federal Reserve. This is all crafted. This is just showmanship. And the person that actually wrote this also wrote Draining the Swamp, Monetary and Fiscal Policy Reform. And of course, that is the very phrasing that Trump uses. We talked about Judy Shelton, who is the Fed nominee of Trump appointee, who is for an implementation of the gold standard and is on the record discussing cryptocurrencies, which is why I told everyone to research XRP. Take it or leave it. Okay, so this is already in the works. She's to be approved soon. Discussed how, there it is, she's talking about how she wants to introduce the gold. We talked about how over the last 3 years, the price of gold has skyrocketed. And how China is already in place, ready to basically become the world reserve currency if that's the path they choose, purely based on tangibility of wealth. So pretty good little introduction of how they're going to replace the infrastructure, new monetary system incoming. So that is, of course, part of what they'll do. So we've discussed the spearheading truth reveal, replacing the media, getting rid of censorship via the Internet Bill of Rights. And of course, they will also make an economic transference of wealth. And it will, of course, paint Trump as the hero. And that's pretty much what Nasara is. So it's amazing on the surface. Okay, now we'll check this out, which goes in line with the economic aspects. Just a couple minutes.
But we're continuing to work on things that you'll be hearing about in the near future, that even today, sitting here right now, you wouldn't believe it's possible that we have found the answers. You'll be hearing about it, but we have found answers to things that people said would not be possible, certainly not in a very short period of time. But the wonders of the last century will pale in comparison to what today's young innovators will achieve, because they are doing things that nobody thought even feasible to begin. We continue to embrace technology, not to shun it.
Okay. And that is, of course, referencing cryptocurrency. If you don't know that, I don't know where you've been or where you've been living, but Trump is on the record saying he's not for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies because they can facilitate illegal activity. And of course, they're not for that. There's actually a conspiracy that like the intel agencies of the U.S. themselves started Bitcoin so they could facilitate all kinds of money to different deep military operations. Some say China started it. Some say Russia started it, whatever. I don't know. I do know China has like an insane grasp on the Bitcoin mining itself. So not to get into the intricacies of cryptocurrency, my point being, when I say that he's referencing cryptocurrency, he's referencing blockchain technology, the inevitability of a transition period into a blockchain adopting the blockchain technology in the current economic infrastructure. Now, if you combine this with wiping the debt clean, getting rid of the Federal Reserve, reintroducing gold, you would have a facilitation method of digitalization. It would make transaction fees way cheaper. It would make transaction period way quicker. And so that's clearly what he's talking about. Things that you wouldn't even believe that sound crazy. Yeah, well, wiping $20+ trillion in debt completely clean, introducing the gold standard in 2020, and having some type of cryptocurrency technology used to transition us does seem kind of crazy to the average person. It honestly isn't crazy at all to me, but again, you got to know what you're dealing with. So coming out of his own mouth, you'll learn soon. They do say 2020 is the year of the digital asset. So you have been warned. Another part that will also come out is this right here. I'm sure a lot of you know Seth Rich. Seth Rich was the guy that worked in the DNC and then leaked the emails, the infamous emails to WikiLeaks, and then, of course, was murdered. And, what is said is that MS-13 murdered him because they were murder for hire, and then they sent out some ops to take him out, take out the people that killed Seth Rich. Someone else that was also part of the DNC fraudulent investigation waged against the DNC also came up mysteriously dying. And this is where it gets real tricky. You know, it's like, was all that crafted? I don't know. Very possible it wasn't. Very possible this dude actually leaked emails. It's very possible that's what happened. And they just took advantage of this. Or because you can just swoop it in. You're making the transition from dark to light, which is what Q always says anyway. Which, of course, again, that's Luciferian agenda, dark to light, just different paths within the Luciferian ideology. They're all on the same team. But it doesn't really matter. The point is that this is about to come back out in the public forum. That's my point. So just so you know, this will be a big part of the truth reveal. Like basically, bro, expect to start seeing like well put together documentaries that expose these corruptions, even though they're just like diet woke, super surface level. Expect it because it's about to happen. We are actually in a movie. Like what was the video exposing like MK Ultra, and like pedophilia in Hollywood and stuff. I forgot what it's called, but it went pretty mainstream for a while. Expect to see more stuff like that. That's what, and there's gonna be all kinds of them. And Seth Rich will be brought back out and basically exonerated, revered as the hero that, if the story were true, he was. So you will see that take place here soon. We're about to get bombarded. So, okay, moving on. Divided Senate approves Texas Representative Ratcliffe as next intelligence director. This is how you know the play is about to start. There has been an updating to the intelligence director position. Okay, he will be heralded as a hero for outing corruption and getting the intelligence back on a good route or whatever, that's what they're going to say. All you have to do is have eyes to see. If you think all this is a coincidence, I'm not sure what to tell you. And then we'll finish with a video to kind of give you just a little summary of what we all know, what this is. This was a couple days ago.
And some people have done a phenomenal job. But what am I doing? I'm fighting the deep state. I'm fighting the swamp. And I said I was doing it, and I'm exposing the swamp. I think if it keeps going the way I'm going, and Ratcliffe is fantastic, if it keeps going the way it's going, I have a chance to break the deep state. It's a vicious group of people. It's very bad for our country, and that's never happened before. You happen to be a victim of the deep state, I hate to tell you, whether you know it or not, but they've treated you horribly over the years, and so have they treated many other people. They never thought I was going to win, and then I won. And then they tried to get me out. That was the insurance policy. She's going to win, but just in case she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. And now I beat them on the insurance policy. And now they're being exposed. Comey is a dirty cop. McCabe, bad guy. These are all bad guys. Lisa Page and Strzok, these are the two lovers, right? And they used public servers. They put it out public because they didn't want anybody to see, like spouses, etc., to see that they were having an affair. And because they did that, they got caught. Tremendous things have happened. They forged documents. We caught them. They have people that have forged documents. I would like to see it move much faster. I'll be honest with you. To me, I don't need any more information. I know. And I purposely stayed out of it. Other than I appoint people, I purposely stayed out of it. But I'll tell you what they've done, if this were President Obama, if this were a Democrat instead of a Republican, people would have been in jail for 2 years. Many people would have been in jail for 2 years already with a 50-year term. Okay, 50 years. But we caught them. Now, hopefully Bill Barr is going to do something about it. And you know what? Other things are going to come out too. And a lot of other things are going to come out. But you don't even need other things. What they've done is so corrupt. They've tried to take down a duly elected president of the United States. Happens to be, in this case, me. But we can never allow it to happen again.
Yeah, he just told.
Hopefully Bill Barr is going to do something about it. And you know what? Other things are going to come out too. And a lot of other things are going to come out.
Boom. There you go. Indeed they are. Indeed they are. So, yeah, there you go. I see y'all in the chat, out of shadows. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. And just like Mr. Anderson said, pretty diet woke, but sometimes it's useful to pull people out of cognitive dissonance to show them some of these basic things, like, the CIA experimenting with mind control, and controlling the media, and working with Disney, and pedophilia. My bigger point, of course, being that was a well put together documentary that was pretty based, even if only surface level, diet woke, and expect more things like that. We're about to see a lot of them. And if they keep being suppressed, that will just tie right in with the Internet Bill of Rights. So inevitably, we're about to see a huge psychological shift. We're approaching an Overton window. It's very important to understand. Maybe that'll help put things into perspective. They constantly keep their eye on the Overton window, and they guide it. Right. And then I think I had, let's see, just to let y'all know, if y'all didn't see, did a debate here on Rose channel. Go show her some love. She's going to end up beating my sub count. What a legend. But yeah, if you want to see that, I don't know. I'll be honest, it's probably pretty painful to listen to, but whatever. And then tomorrow night at 8, I'll be debating some dude named T-Jump about the flat earth on Modern Day Debate. So come check it out. And as you see, I've got a fan in here. Austin is an abject moron. What a cool story from my gamma. All right, now I'm going to come talk to you all in the chat for a little bit and then wrap it up. I bet money he won't say Zionists and Jesuits instead of saying deep state. Of course not. Zionists and Jesuits own him. Yes, he went to a Jesuit school. Just go read the Jesuit oath. He got bailed out for $4 billion by the Rothschilds. Q says we're saving Israel for last. Trust the plan. And of course, as you can see in the thumbnail, it is a sheep saying trust the plan. You do not ever trust a plan if the plan is a deep military operation coming from the same very establishment they're claiming to be exposing. That's retarded. When will flat earth be commonly accepted? I don't know. I don't even think the grabblers know exactly what they want to do with that yet. They're toying with Space Force. Every single military branch has their own Air Force. They're going to do away with the Air Force and replace it with the Space Force. Not what we know right now. There's going to be a whole new thing. And they're disbanding NASA because they're just too provably corrupt, and they're just going to wash their hands with it. Easier to admit that they lied than try to answer and cover up more lies. Yeah, I make a lot of bold predictions, but whatever. And I think they're on the fence when it comes to flat earth. Like, if they can, it's like a double-edged sword. You can see there is actually a window of opportunity here. That's why I'm really not big on like the doomers, like the black pill people. It's like, well, they're playing a pretty risky game, even though they are solely focused on, minimalizing risk. There is an inherent risk that comes with major shift of infrastructure. To make the giant leap to what they ultimately want, the New World Order, they've got to leave a window of opportunity here. And they know there's awakening that needs to take place so that you can expose the prior infrastructure to justify the new implementation. So they're guiding the awakening. That means there will be an awakening. They hope to keep it right here at the surface. So we need to, more than ever, do our job to diligently speak the truth and make sure people see what's going on. But all that to basically say, like, the Internet Bill of Rights can kind of backfire, because we saw what Flat Earth did on YouTube when it wasn't censored. It exploded. And so if they were to implement an Internet Bill of Rights but keep censoring Flat Earth, everyone's going to be like, whoa, this must really be true. It's the only thing being censored now. And more likely, they'll just leave it be and kind of do surveillance litmus tests to see if they can damage control. Long way of saying, I think they may end up absorbing Flat Earth. It's just it'll be a tactical move that they'll make based on logistics. So I don't think they even know yet. There's a lot of benefits to lying about it. There's also a lot of benefits for them coming out and admitting it. It just adds validity that the new infrastructure is going to be translucent on a level that's unprecedented. They're even admitting something like that. And also they don't have to lie about it anymore, which makes their job much easier. It just depends on if they were really what their ultimate agenda. Does it necessitate the heliocentric Jesuit space monkey religion? You know, I don't know the answer. I don't even know if they know. I think they're kind of that one's up in the air. Personally, that's what I think. I laughed so hard with the last debate you did with Rose's friend. That was so embarrassing for her. Excellent job. Thanks. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Go check out the debate tomorrow. I didn't get to choose the time or the day, so obviously, if it steps over into Jainism Raw, you should go watch Jainism Raw and then just go watch it. Also, I'll do an after show to the debate on my channel. Okay, so I'll do the debate and then we'll do an after show. So, you know, I'll talk to y'all there. Y'all don't have to like super chat money on there to talk to me. Obviously, just come over to my channel afterwards. We'll just talk about it. They want to control the burn, so the phoenix will be reborn in the ashes of the old order. Screw that. We want the ashes pulverized. I feel you, man. Forgot that I can throw these things up on here. The channel is called Modern Day Debate. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. It will come out. It will come out grassroots, the flat earth. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think they know yet. That's my actual take. I bet that dude will cancel the debate. I don't know. He debates a lot. I mean, you know, will he? I don't know. Nah, probably not, dude. You'll be surprised, dude. These Glovers will just willfully march into the slaughter and then just whine as they implode live time, clinging on to their heliocentric religion, like they're globe zealots. Most of these people have like the genuine, like authentic arrogance that they know that they're right. So I don't know. It depends. Like, is he going to go watch some of my other debates? Probably not. I mean, so I wouldn't say he'll cancel because he's a regular on that show, on that debate forum. Yes, sir. Put the Modern Day Debate channel link in the description of this video, please. Yeah. I'll put everything I showed in the show links once it uploads. And I like James, the guy that does the moderation, tries to stay neutral. Cool guy to me, at least. I mean, he doesn't like shy away from subjects. So it is Glober heavy presence, guys. I will go ahead and give you a heads up. So I, of course, will be going into the belly of the beast. It doesn't bother me. I'm just defending reality. But just so you know, if you've never been there. Funny that Professor Dave declined to debate Can-Be. Yeah, of course. Of course he did. I would love to debate that dude. It'll never happen. Never happen. It's so hard to watch them babbling. Yeah, hopefully it'll just be like free-flowing conversation back and forth. So, you know, we can get to the heart of the issue, because I don't find it that difficult to just be respectful adults and like go back and forth, as long as someone doesn't just monologue void of substantive specificity, like they're teaching me about their religion. So it could be beneficial. I haven't watched any of this dude. Like, I've seen a few minutes of him in some debate. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not tripping, you know. Like, I don't think he'll back out though. I've seen his name on there a lot. Debates get hard to watch most times. Yeah, dude, trust me, it's exhausting. I do this for you guys. I really do. I do it for third parties, like third-party viewers. I never go in with the intentions of convincing some Globe zealot lifetime to admit that their religion is, fraudulent. It's for, like, potentially if someone's on the fence or you're trying to wake someone up, you can be like, look, check out this debate. And if a lot of good subjects are covered articulately, that's the hard part, is to actually get substance, to come out of it. Because you're basically like, you're arguing with a toddler that doesn't want their little ball, their little toy ball to be ripped from them. But yeah, guys, I trust me. Every time I finish one, I feel super drained. So I want you guys to know it is not like the most enjoyable thing ever, but I think someone has to do it. Any Glover arguments are absurd. They're trying to defend fantasies. Yeah, I know. Well, I just think it's funny, though. I think it's funny that they think there are people that actually think like flat earthers are the stupid ones. It's like, but I know all about your religion and you don't. Like, it's so weird. It doesn't compute for me. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I would never go argue with someone knowing I'm right when they know way more about it. I would never do that. I don't even understand it. So, but yeah, anyway, I'll link the channel. And then you can go check out the one if you want to on Rose's channel. That girl, I mean, she just could float down and tell her the earth was flat. I mean, at one point I said, do you think the government lies? She said, yeah, of course, all the time. And I said, just not NASA though, right? She said, no, yeah, exactly. What do you do with someone like that? Okay, like, yeah, no doubt. Much love, much love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Look at all these people in here just crushing. You in the conversation right there. Yeah, exactly, Zach. Exactly, bro. That's why I like just brought that up, just to kind of like let everyone know. I could tell that she was just being blatantly dishonest. Just like let her expose herself. I mean, she said that anyone can just go to Antarctica whenever they want to. So, whatever. If we were tumbling in all directions through space, the stars would never be the same, and damn sure would leave trails all around Polaris. Yeah, they just reset in a revolution over top of our heads around the center point annually for like all of it recordable existence. But we're the crazy ones. You know what's real funny is like when Globers say like flat Earth makes no sense, it's like ironically it literally makes all the sense. Like you have to go against all your senses literally to think the Earth's a globe. So it's pretty funny. So you can kill Globers. Like if you want to know that the real like Wizard Slayer sword death blow to a Glober, it's really simple. Positive claims have the burden of proof. You're making a positive claim contrary to all observable phenomena. We experience stationary Earth. We never feel the Earth moving. We never see it moving. Okay, we just see the sky move over top of us. We never see a curvature, right? We don't ever see a spinning ball. You're making a positive claim contrary to that observable, demonstrable evidence. You're also making a claim contrary to a natural law of the second law of thermodynamics and entropy and energy transfer. You're making a positive claim contrary to observable phenomena. You have the burden of proof of specificity of your specific claim. So you can't shift the burden of proof. That's called a shifting the burden of proof fallacy. You try to pin some model on me. That's called a straw man fallacy. We don't claim a definitive model, a general description of the Earth flat, because that's the intellectually honest position to take. We don't have all the information accessible to do any more than that. And you have the burden of proof. So prove that the Earth's a magic spinning cartoon ball brought to you by Jesuit priests. Prove it. It's really that simple. It's that simple. And they never can. They never will. They just implode. They freak out, and they immediately shift the burden of proof to a straw man model, right after you preface it by calling out that fallacy. And of course, it's just constant reification fallacies, begging the question fallacies, ad homs. So anyway, it's really pretty easy. I just do the debates with these really stubborn people for you guys and like being able to send that content to someone else that's maybe open-minded. So what's your opinion on Enoch 1? I think it was removed by the Roman Catholic Church, and they gave a decree to remove it from the face of the earth. And it's like just quoted verbatim in Jude, as Enoch the seventh from Adam prophesies, and it quotes it verbatim. And Yeshua basically calls it scripture when pressed by the Sadducees about marriage in heaven, which was only explained in Enoch. So yeah, I strongly encourage everyone to read it, and I think it was removed. And that was known, and it says it's prefaced by saying this is for a remote generation. It tells you the name of all the watchers, how he deceived everybody. So yeah, there you go. Gives a lot of context to the Old Testament, etc. Thank you. Thanks. I don't debate. I levitate. Pretty good worldview to adopt there, bro. Because most of these debates are the opposite. There's a lot of negative frequencies, you know. Someone's got to do it. I have one friend who at least knows the moon landing's fake. I'll send him the debate tomorrow. Thanks. Sweet. Perfect. God took him with him. Yep. Definitely encourage reading Enoch. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Exactly. The scriptures were chopped up and given to people out of order to confuse the masses. Yeah, and there's 66 books. All right, so I'm going to do where I do the little brief, really quick recap and call it. All right, so let's... Yep. WitsitGetsIt on D-Lives, where I'll go if the Grabblers ever kick me off, and I'm going to look into restream so we can simultaneously cast. Of course, I'm going to keep going on YouTube until it's removed for discoverability, even though we're shadow banned, obviously, and because it keeps the videos as opposed to having some limit. Hegelian dialectic, which is the entire base premise of this video. The synthetic solution to these conflicts can't be introduced unless those being manipulated take a side that will advance the predetermined agenda. The predetermined agenda, of course, is a new world order with a totally new infrastructure, economic, media, technological, etc. So apply that to what we are watching happen. Important to always just keep that in mind. Very simple problem, reaction, solution. Michael Flynn gets exonerated. Maybe it'll be a Trump pardon. Either way, he's going to be exonerated. He's the head of the DIA, who is behind the whole QAnon psyop. Yeah, so I just showed you that the director of the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency is an intelligence officer who, upon nomination by the president and confirmation of the Senate, serves as the United States' highest-ranking military intelligence officer. I showed you this decently based clip just to show you that even Republicans are going down. Also showed you here. I'll link all of this. This is coming out just in mainstream, right? Like this is just a White House press briefing talking about all the corruption around Obamagate. That's pretty unprecedented. We're about to start seeing that take off. This is, of course, a long time ago. Him straight up telling you that CNN and them will be out of business. He's being quite literal. They've already crafted the media replacements. And that's why they've made them go out on such crazy limbs the last few years, because they're ready to replace it. I've been telling you also for a while now they're going to implement a constitutional bill of rights, or a internet bill of rights. And of course, the White House, this administration actually launched a platform to where you could report social media platforms for censoring you. And they've compiled a bunch of evidence of it. And so they are going to indeed roll that out. Of course, that means the military will be over it. If you want to hear about the economic aspect, I covered it pretty decently in this video. I might do a more extensive one in the future. Very simply, federal appointee of Trump is on record supporting a reintroduction or reimplementation of the gold standard via the digitalization of some type of cryptocurrency blockchain technology. China's in place for, logistically speaking, when it comes to tangibility of wealth, to be the replacement reserve currency. It does shift every 80 to 100 years. So that's also a potential avenue here. And I think they may just keep the U.S. as the spearhead to the new digitalization. And of course, gold, the price of gold's gone up significantly. Pretty simple things. This is the Jerome Powell of the Fed straight up telling you they just print money out of thin air. So anyway, new monetary system isn't coming. That is, of course, the economic infrastructure that will be replaced. This is Trump straight up saying, basically, they've, at the World Economic Forum this year, explaining, here, I'll just play it. Just a few seconds.
Found the answers. You'll be hearing about it, but to modern transportation and breakthrough vaccines have lifted living standards and saved billions of lives around the world. And we're continuing to work on things that you'll be hearing about in the near future, that even today, sitting here right now, you wouldn't believe it's possible.
Yeah, well, I believe it. And then Seth Rich is going to basically be exonerated. They're going to, more so appear to get some justification or justice for what he was murdered for leaking the DNC emails. This is going to come out mainstream, probably well put together. This is the orchestrated truth reveal. So expect this to pop back up here soon. Divided Senate approves Texas Representative Ratcliffe as the next intelligence director. Of course, just stamping the idea that we're about to see the movie take off. That they replaced the intelligence director. And again, for over 3 years, I've called that it happens in the last 6 months before the election. I'm going to stick behind that. I'll also link this. I'm just straight up telling you about the deep state, and a lot of more stuff's going to come out.
And a lot of other things are going to come out.
Yeah. Yep. And then this is the debate I did this week with Intellectual Wino. If you want to go check it out, show Rose some love and hit her with some subs. And then this is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Flat Earth debate. Cool. Oh, we got a couple super chats. Keep up the great work. God bless. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And will do. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's much appreciated. All right, guys. Cool. So, very simply, look at the thumbnail. The play's beginning. It's about to become exponential. It continues over into the second term, of course, and that's where we're going to get a whole lot of truth reveal. I expect it to be super diet woke for the 6 months, but relatively speaking, unprecedented on a public forum. Second term, way more drastic changes. He will already kind of start to be revered at that point. He will moonwalk back into the White House, landslide victory. Presidents are selected, not elected, but they do like to make it consistent with the general public consensus because they are good at their jobs. They're just grabblers that have been doing it forever. So expect to see a whole lot of this coming the next 6 months. I stick behind my Ostradamus prediction 100%. It's pretty obvious to me, honestly. I would bet everything on it. Just don't fall for it. Don't get swooped in. If I've made a bunch of these predictions on Jaronism's Friday Lounges. Don't be surprised when he comes out exposing Fauci and Bill Gates. He defunded WHO. So I think that they were cast as the fall guys. They may not even know that. But Fauci and Bill Gates, they're going down for sure. The modern connotation of vaccines going to get exposed with Robert Kennedy Jr. working with Donald Trump. This is all part of the play. I don't have to keep saying that. So vaccinations in the modern connotation will be exposed. They may introduce some new safe vaccine. But the whole Bill Gates breathing fire on a tank, shoving needles into people with a AR strapped on his back isn't how it goes down at all. We beg for the New World Order. It's Koch's compliance. So there will not be mandated vaccines, and they'll probably be exposed. And The fraudulent propagation of a lot of these numbers and fear mongering will also be exposed. That'll be part of the truth reveal. It will be cast in the light of some political agenda to undermine the economic success of Donald Trump. Of course, we know it's been planned much longer than that. Yeah, so you're about to see a whole lot of this stuff again. They're going to keep making the lefty media go crazy. To guide the awakening and the shift over to the new implementation of media, expect the Internet Bill of Rights here soon, which actually just means that the government will be completely in charge of the Internet at that point. It'll be postulated as some positive of public utilization, holding these media platforms accountable. But we wouldn't actually need like the military to enforce it, and that's what they're going to slip in with the Internet Bill of Rights. So yeah, there you go. Just keep your head on a swivel, you know. Seek and speak truth, like I always say. Unplug from the box, the metaphorical, ideological box. You just have to unplug, man, and be honest and look at information honestly, and then go from there. You know, don't bring your predispositions into any type of research, because you're automatically clouding your cognitive ability to deduce the truth from the jump. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So remove your bias. Truth truly doesn't care about your predispositions or your feelings and emotions or what's the safest thing to call. So there you go. Lots of talk of fake space going on in lots of different corners lately. Maybe there is hope. Yeah. I think it's very possible that they adopt the flat Earth truth. I think they may absorb it. But thank you very much for the super chat. It is appreciated, even though the grabblers try to get their cut, of course. Yeah, and hit the like button. Thank you very much for the compliment, and smash the Rogans up. It helps us break the algorithms. We got like 160 people here, so we should get a few thumbs up, right? Just it's like free. It just takes a couple seconds. Just go smash the Rogans up. But yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna catch up with y'all. And like I said, I got the debate tomorrow night, and then I'll do an after show on this channel so we can chat there. Thank you again for the super chat. Yeah. All right. Anyways, everybody have a good one, and I'll catch up with y'all mañana. Peace.